Oh, oh, hi. No, thanks for joining us for the Woolf and Social Kitchen thing, or Woolf and Social Kitchen thing. Yeah, thanks very much for purchasing our kit, and now I'm going to attempt to show you how to kind of prepare it all. Basically, the things you'll need, you probably already are aware of, are a couple of mixing bowls, a whisk, which I think I've left in the kitchen, this is kind of in place of a small baking tray, but a small baking tray or skillet pan, a cast iron skillet pan or a frying pan, or whatever pan you've got, to be honest with you. This is going to be for the deep frying. Cast iron skillet's best for deep frying, but well, deepish frying. But I mean, if you've got a deep fat fryer, cool, use that. I would if I could. But yeah, any pan will do. Heavier the bottom, the better, because that will keep the temperature of the oil. You're going to need some salt and some sugar, which hopefully you've got. If you haven't, I pray for you. You're going to need 1 egg, bang, and a small amount of olive oil, unless, because at some point in this video I'm going to show you a mayonnaise, and it's up to you how you kind of want to do it. If you've got olive oil and you want to use half and half olive oil to non-GM rapeseed oil, that's fine, it's delicious, but just remember that olive oil gives everything a bit of a slight bitterness. But anyway, right, I guess let's start. I haven't really thought this through, so you have to bear with me. So the first thing you should probably do is put your oven on. So I think for the first thing that we're going to do, stick it on at 180, which is like gas 4 or 5 or something. I'm not really sure. You could probably Google it.
What about electric?
What electric? Yeah, 180 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Sorry. So yeah, stick your oven on at 180 degrees and just let that get to temperature because you want it kind of preheated. So this is what we're making today, is like the chicken lover's feast basically. So the starter is going to be buffalo wings, just straight up buffalo wings. Like nothing else, just buffalo wings. If you want to eat any of the other stuff with them, you can. When I eat buffalo wings, I just want buffalo wings, loads of them. So there's plenty of buffalo wings for 2 people. You might have enough left over. If there's people who don't like chili so much, more for you. No, like, I guess, don't use the buffalo sauce. Or I'll tell you what you could do actually, if you wanted to make the buffalo sauce milder, if you've got a bit of extra butter at home, the more butter that you put through the buffalo sauce, the milder it will be. But I'll get into that in a minute. So you've got wings. So the wings that you receive have already been salted. That draws out a little bit of the moisture from the skin, which makes them nice and crisp. And there'll be a very specific breading mix for, which is what I call what you dredge it in, a very specific breading mix for the buffalo wings. For the main course, I mean, it's weird saying main course. To be honest with you, if it was me, I'd just do this all together and just eat it at once, because that's how I like to eat. I'm not really like a kind of starter, mains, dessert kind of guy. I mean, I probably would leave the dessert till the end, but if you want, you can have it at the start. It's up to you. Just like skip to the end of the video and then come back to here maybe. Anyway, oh, I forgot to mention the most important thing is lubrication. So like, I think it's sort of almost essential to cook with a little bit of lubrication. More lubrication equals more love. I think you know what I mean. Right. So then the next bit is Anyway, sorry. Like I said, I haven't got a script, so sorry about that. So the next thing is hasselback potatoes. So I have pre-cooked these for you, so you need to do very little. They're absolutely beautiful Jersey Royal meat potatoes, and they have been cooked in kind of a little like oil, butter, confit type thing with cider vinegar and salt. And it means if you have the salt and the cider vinegar when you're cooking them, you shouldn't need to season them. Obviously, if you want to, you can, but taste them first. And then, so this is all the stuff we're going to use to make the sauces. So I'll get to that in a minute. Then I've made you a few pickled vegetables. So I'm not totally sure what you've got in there, but what I did for this is asparagus, because it's banging season, and radish because it's banging season. So hopefully when you get this, sorry, I should say I'm recording this a week in advance, so all of the ingredients are kind of subject to change, but you should be getting what I've got. So I'm going to do some pickled asparagus, which is absolutely delicious, and like fresh pickled Norfolk asparagus is like one of my favourite things to eat. I mean, even like raw, like it's one of my favourite things to eat. But yeah, I've pickled it for you, and that's going to go in with the salad. So one of the things that I've been doing over the past few weeks is working with my friend Charlie, who grows these leaves, and so these leaves I kind of help to grow that you're getting, which is quite cool, I think. So in here you've got some red Mizuna. Come a bit closer, look.
Shout out to Charlie.
Yeah, shout out to Charlie, exactly. So you've got some red Mizuna, this stuff, which is really beautiful, is purslane, but it's called Claytonia, and it's really like succulent and delicious, and the flowers sort of grow out the leaves, and it's really pretty. My daughter absolutely loves it. She's 3, and it's basically the only green vegetable she'll eat. So then moving on, we're gonna do some stone fruits, which I'm just going to get you to grill. Again, you're going to need some sugar for that. I'd recommend golden castor, or maybe even a dark sugar like demerara or whatever. I mean, some of the food's quite heavy, but so it's up to you. But then we're going to send you a few raspberries just for a little bit of garnish. Again, in season, nice. And I'm going to make you some of this, which is just chantilly cream, which just means like a sort of sweetened vanilla cream. I was gonna send you cream and like get you to do it yourself, but it's like it's not that fun. It's just whipping cream, adding some icing sugar. So I'm gonna do that for you and send that out with you. I haven't put it in like a funny pot because I've just done it just now. So yeah, so moving on, I've talked through all of that stuff, haven't I? So I guess we're kind of on to like the cooking bit. I think probably the best thing that we can do is prepare the sauces in advance. So I'm going to attempt to show you how to make a mayo. I found my whisk, and so we're going to start with the mayo, which is exciting. If there's anyone who's like a chef watching this, I'm not a trained chef, but this is how I make a mayo. If you think it's wrong, just keep it to yourself, please. All right, thanks. Cheers. So a mayo is an emulsification. Emulsification just basically means you're combining a water and an oil, and in order to do that you need an emulsifier. So I'm going to send you some Dijon mustard, and you should have an egg. Hopefully you've got an egg. Right, so you want just the egg yolk, and you can separate the egg yolk whichever way your mum told you, it doesn't matter. I do it by just passing it through my hand like that. And I'm not going to use the egg white for anything currently, but you're welcome to make a delicious meringue or something. So pop your egg yolk in the bowl, give your hands a quick wash. Pop your egg yolk in the bowl, and all of the Dijon mustard that I sent you. So stick that in there.
Social kitchen thing.
So stick that all in there in your bowl with the whisk, and this is the bit where me and other people differ. So I'm also going to send you a little bit of vinegar. It's going to be so I really like rice vinegars. This is the vinegar I'm going to send you is most likely going to be a kind of mix of apple vinegar and rice vinegar. And it's Korean apple vinegar and rice vinegar, and I just think like the sweetness that you get from it is like helpful. But what I was going to say is, pouring the vinegar. But what I was going to say is, if you want to make a kind of flavoured mayo, depending on what you want to use, you might have like a really interesting vinegar you want to use. Add that at this point instead of the vinegar we sent you or whatever. But this mayo is just going to be a kind of a plain mayo, but it will suit the fried chicken and the Hasselback potatoes especially. So what I would encourage you to do is maybe chop up a few gherkins at the end and chuck it in, or a few herbs you might have lying around. I would say probably the best herbs for you, I mean, if you've got any fennel, that'd be amazing. So I've got a bit of fennel growing in the garden, so that's what I would add. Probably, I mean, parsley would be all right. I'd say like kind of fennelly, gherkiny kind of flavours would work really well with these Hasselback potatoes. So there we go. So just mix up your egg yolk, mustard and vinegar. Again, other people don't do this, but I like to add a little bit of salt at this point because it means like you don't have to season too much at the end. Oh yeah, and this is something that a lot of people don't do, but I always do, and I always have, is add a bit of sugar. So I put a bit of sugar in, and I like to add it at this point because you can get it to dissolve in the kind of liquid element, which is the vinegar. So I'm going to add a little bit of sugar for now. You can always add a bit later. I guess I've kind of done this before, so I know roughly how much to put in. But it's like, I guess like quarter teaspoon, something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, give that a good old mix up. Get the sugar and the salt to dissolve into the sort of liquid element of the mayonnaise. Oh, by the way, if you've got a stand mixer, which I have got, but I'm doing this by hand for you. If you've got a stand mixer, then it's so much easier to do it in a stand mixer. So that is what I do. So if you've got a stand mixer at this point, stick it all in the stand mixer to this point, get it whizzing, and now you're here. Right, so the most important thing of the mayo is the very first drop of oil, okay? If you don't get that to emulsify, essentially mix in, then your mayo will split. I hope this works. Right.
So move in.
Little drop of oil, tiny drop of oil, and just really, really vigorously whisk it. And then what you're going to do, what I should probably just do quickly, is grab my tea towel so it rows a bit less. Pop that in the bowl. That'll save your ears. Right. So drop a little bit more oil and just keep whisking. Keep whisking. You don't have to have an extra special whisking technique, just like move it around loads as fast as possible. And just keep going basically. I feel like I should be talking and saying things at this point, but really you just want to keep adding oil very slowly and whisking. Oh. Go. So mine's not split. If it does split, and that is possible, like there's an element of skill to making a mayo, but like you've all got it. So
I missed you.
You've all got that element of skill. It's just like wanting to do it right. So, but if it does split, then what you'll end up with is a really nice salad dressing. So don't worry about it. I mean, I like to emulsify my salad dressings as well, but you know, whatever. So just keep going, keep whisking. And as I say, your oil, so we're sending you some rapeseed oil, but which you're going to be using for the frying as well. But if you want to use olive oil, that is absolutely fine. I don't, to be honest with you, because I like to flavour my mayos myself, not have it flavoured by the oil. Quite often I'll use a mix, so I'll use maybe like a third olive oil to rapeseed oil. But like I quite like I like the flavours to come from the vinegars. I'm a big like acidity guy, and so I like the flavour to kind of come from the like acid element of the mayo. Anyway, what I was going to say was, if you're using olive oil, you might want to add a bit more sugar, because it just slightly counteracts the bitterness. I worked with a chef who used to add honey to his mayo. Personally, I don't. I think that's like a bit of a clash of sort of complexity of flavour. But anyway, that's kind of mayo texture. I mean, you can keep going. What I should say is, the more oil you add, the thicker it will get. So you can get a really, really thick mayo if you want. And as I say, this is 1 egg. You know, some people will swear you need 3 eggs to make a mayo. It's not true. Like, you just need that little bit to get an emulsification. And like, you can see how much I've made here. It's absolutely loads. So that
Lovely shirt, Francis.
Oh, rats! Look at that. I should have worn an apron. Wear an apron.
Yeah. Company expense.
Do you know what? I haven't worn a shirt for like, how long has this been? Like 8 weeks. And like, this is the first shirt I've worn. And
look smart, man.
Look at me.
Good look.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's your mayo. Like, there's loads there. There's more than you're going to need for this meal, but that's great. So like, stick it in a jar, stick it in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge, use it for anything. So the most important thing, and every decent chef will tell you, the most important thing is to taste. So taste it. Like, I kind of know already, because of the amount I had, that that's going to want a bit of salt, but I'm going to have a little taste anyway. Actually, it's fine. So, you know, you have to taste everything, because you know, oh, it's really nice. That apple vinegar is amazing. So anyway, that's the mayo, I guess. So stick that aside, stick it in the fridge maybe for a bit, and let's move on to the buffalo sauce. God, I'm really too pissed to do this thing. Do you want an asparagus pickleback?
Sounds good.
You recorded?
Yeah.
Alright. You're gonna have an asparagus pickleback with me? So we're just gonna make a little pickled asparagus pickleback with some nice Woodford's Reserve. It's got a few fennel seeds in it, but I can't do. There you go.
Woolf.
There you go. Cheers. Thank you. You have to do it with me. Cheers. Cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
Woof,
sure. I'm not
woof.
sure about asparagus and bourbon.
No.
but it's something, isn't it? Right. So
Round 3.
the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start doing some actual cooking with fire, which is going to be great. So what I would do at this point, I mean, I've waffled on for so long now. Your oven must be hot. Take your house-back potatoes, put them into a baking tray or roasting dish, whatever, just like the smallest one you've got. I mean, it's enough potatoes for 2 people. So stick that into the oven. I'm going to pretend there's an oven here now. Look. Okay, and then gather your ingredients for the buffalo sauce, which is just the butter and the chili sauce that we sent you. Oh, by the way, the buffalo sauce that I've sent you is a bespoke mixture, but the main ingredients of buffalo sauce is like chili sauce, and it doesn't have to be Frank's. Like, it can be like I actually don't want to tell you what mine is, but mine is kind of part chili sauce I make and part 2 different chili sauces which I buy, which are kind of pre-produced. But you can like have a look what you got, like have a little play around. Basically, buffalo sauce, the basics of it is chili sauce warmed up and whisked with butter, whisked through it. Okay, again, it's like a mayonnaise, it's an emulsification. Because I quite like it, I think it's quite important to add a little bit of vinegar, depending on the chili sauce that you use. And I also put a little bit of garlic through mine and a little bit of mustard as well, just to give like a few kind of different depths to the heat that you get. So yeah, let's go through to the kitchen and do a bit of cooking. So this is actually take 2, and I'd already poured the oil into my heavy bottom pan, but you can use any pan that you've got, really, I mean, more or less. If you're not sure about what pan you've got and whether it's going to be suitable for frying the chicken, I'm going to be online now, and you can message me somehow. We haven't quite worked out how yet, but it's going to happen. But yeah, so the way I like to do it is put it onto a nice low heat to bring the oil up to temperature, and at the same time we're going to make the buffalo sauce. So you've got your oil there, warming up. If you've got a thermometer, like a jam thermometer or something like that, take a temperature of it. You want to get it to about 170, something like that. If you haven't got a thermometer, that's okay, just warm it on a low heat, it won't go mental, okay? And the thing to do, I'll show you in a minute, is just drop a little bit of wet breading mix in there and see what colour it goes. Cool. So while the oil's warming, we're going to make the buffalo sauce. So take another pan, this time like a saucepan, pop it on, grab your whisk, which you've relocated from earlier, and take the chili sauce mixture, which I've sent you, in the pot. Put the whole lot, whoa, that's a hot pan. Put the whole lot in the pan. I tell you what it is, right? It's because this is take 2. I'd already put that pan on the heat, and then I've taken it off, and then we done take 3 or whatever. You know what I'm saying. And so the pan was really hot. Right, so pop the sauce into the pan, get your whisk, take the cubes butter, again, which I've sent you, pop it in, and whisk it. Like, because your butter is solid, you don't need to go as mental as you did with the mayo to get it to emulsify. But look, it's almost there. And you're looking for that kind of like nice orangey, gloopy kind of vibe.
Whoa.
Yeah. And this is enough buffalo sauce for 2 people. It should be bang on actually. Okay, you don't want to leave that on the heat too long. If you leave it on the heat too long, it will split, 100%. Okay, so take it off the heat, let the butter melt, and go back to your pan of oil. Pause for a second. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So
I might get some sponsorship from
the cheapest infrared thermometer you can buy on Amazon. Right.
Can't see it.
Okay. So I'm going to just double check the temperature of the oil with my infrared thermometer. It's about 170, which is about right. However, as I said, you can check. You need to do it with some wet breading mix. So take your mixing bowl, take the buffalo wing breading mix that I sent you and put it in. Then you've got your salted buffalo wings. There should be about 10, possibly more, like hopefully more. And you're just gonna dredge those. Okay. Remember you're dealing with raw chicken, okay? So remember to wash your hands. Right, so you've now got your wings that were pre-salted and nice, the skin sort of dried out, lost a bit of that moisture, and you've got it all mixed up with your breading mix. Like, use your hands, use tongs, use whatever, but just remember afterwards, wash your hands. Okay, so grab a little bit of the breading mix, try and find a bit that's got a bit moist, look, can you see like that? And just drop it in the oil and see what happens. After about like, I don't know, 12 seconds, it should start to go a little bit golden, and that means your oil's probably at the right temperature. So we're going to start adding our wings. I'm like, it's totally fine to use tongs. There's nothing wrong with using tongs. Okay, I'm going to get all 10 in here.
Oh, it smells amazing, Woolf.
But if your oil starts to lap over the edge of your pan, stop, please stop, or find a bigger pan. Because I reckon the emergency services have got plenty to deal with at the moment, rather than like me sort of vicariously making you have some sort of pan, like hot oil fire. Anyway, so pop them all in there. I'll put one more to get in there. I reckon it'll just about go.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Okay, so we got them all in. I forgot to say at the beginning, it's good to have a pair of tongs. Get a pair of tongs and just very occasionally turn your wings. So wings take a fair amount of time to cook. Like, I once accidentally said this to a chef before, you can't overcook them. I mean, he managed it. So you can overcook them.
Who was that chef?
I'm not going to say, what the hell? But you almost can't overcook them, okay? Like, when they're like, I mean, this is going to take you kind of like, I don't know, maybe like 8 minutes to get them kind of as cooked as you need them to be. But you can see already, look at that, they're getting kind of crisp and golden and delicious.
Wow.
Okay, so there's all sorts of stuff in that breading mix that I've sent you, which again, unfortunately, I'm probably not going to reveal on the internet, but there's some good stuff in there which is going to like bring out lots of the flavour of the chicken. Why have you twisted it like that?
You see the chicken and you.
Oh, I see. Oh, fine. That's going to kind of make it all like golden.
I'm on the camera, mate, right?
I know, you're doing a really good job. By the way, Felix is filming. He's my business partner.
Yep.
He's usually a silent partner, but he's not being so silent now. But
Available for any filming gigs that might be going around.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll let those cook and turn them occasionally. let's just go back to this buffalo sauce, because if you forget about it, you'll see it starts to split. You see the little pools of oil you've got there, that from the butter? As long as you don't let it go too far, you can just whisk those straight back in, okay? And you've got your buffalo sauce. Lovely. All the while, your Hasselback potatoes should be cooking in the oven. Well, I say cooking, warming, like they are cooked to perfection when you receive them. But what you're trying to do in the oven is crisp them up real good, okay? And the crispier they are, the nice they are, the more they're going to go with that beautiful mayo that you've made. Like, now is a good point to chop a few gherkins you might have, stick that with the meal. The other thing that we can probably do now is maybe dress the salad. So let's skip over to the other room, we'll dress the salad. Cool, so in there we've got the buffalo wings frying away. As I said, it's like quite hard to overcook them, but like you've got to keep an eye on them at all times, which is why I'm going to do this. Anyway, so we've got a salad here. So the idea with this salad is I didn't want to kind of make a kind of fancy dressing for it. The salad leaves are like amazing and speak for themselves. So what I've kind of done is like I've almost like split the dressing into two halves. So I've got these beautiful pickled vegetables. So here we've got pickled asparagus and pickled radishes, which are amazing. Please eat the asparagus. Please eat the radish today, because if you leave it too long, it ferments and it will stink your whole house out. I mean, it will still be delicious to eat, but cool. So yeah, so stick your pickled vegetables over your salad. They're quite vinegary. They're like quite acidic, and so that's what I mean when I say I've sort of split the salad dressing in two. I'm not going to make a salad dressing because we don't need it. What I'd like to do though is just take that little bit of olive oil I asked you to get in advance and just pour it over. Simple as that. And I've used a really good quality Brindisa olive oil, but like, to be honest, like most of the olive oils you get at the supermarket, extra virgin olive oils you get at the supermarket are like great, and you can use them for this, and it's not a problem at all. I'm also going to put a tiny bit of sea salt over the top. We use Maldon sea salt here, but you know, I think sea salt is good. Like, there is a difference in taste. If you taste test between table salt and sea salt, like, you'll get it. So if you can't bother, just trust me. So a bit of sea salt over the top, and that's your salad ready to go. So we're going to go back into the kitchen now, finish off the buffalo wings. We'll get them served. Okay, so the buffalo wings are looking pretty good now. Like, look at that. So you can see the skin's all bubbled up. You've got the gold and beautiful breadcrumb kind of vibe off the end of them. So just keep going a little bit longer. And while they're kind of finishing off, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to kind of finish them in the oven. So while those Hasselback potatoes are getting really crisp, in a minute I'm going to put these into the oven. If you can, get a baking tray and put a little bit of baking parchment on the bottom of it, because that'll soak up some of the oil from the buffalo wings. But while we're there, we're just going to stay here. I'll be one sec.
Yeah.
Cool. So while those are finishing off in the pan, we're going to get ready for the next bit of fried chicken. I mean, this is quite a fried chicken heavy thing. You've got to love fried chicken for this. Hopefully there's 100 of you who love fried chicken as much as me. Right, so we're going to put the chicken strips breading mix into the bowl now, and add your free range, pre-brined, pre-marinated chicken breast strips. And get them in there. I'm going to wash my hands after this, so I'm going to use my hands. You want to make sure they're completely coated, okay? It's really important. And you can even kind of like get in there with them a bit, do you know what I mean? Like, sort of like show them a little bit of love.
The wings are smelling amazing.
Yeah, the wings are really there. Okay, so you've got your strips breaded now as well. I'm going to wash my hands.
Wash your hands.
Ready? Cool, so I reckon that these wings have had about 8 minutes now. And like you can see that they're flipping crispy. However, this is chicken on the bone, and you want to eat it at so the internal temperature has to be around like 65, 70 degrees. It probably is after 6 to 8 minutes. If you really want to now, you're going to take your biggest one out, cut it open, have a look. What I prefer to do is when they look good and look ready on the outside, pop them into a baking tray or a roasting dish. If you're doing it at home, I'd please line it with baking parchment. I've got a perforated baking tray, so I kind of don't need to because the oil will seep through. So pop them all into your baking tray. Just for now, just for my peace of mind, maybe take your skillet off the heat. Oh, I need a towel. Just a sec. What? Take your skillet off the heat just while we do this, because we're going to use that oil like momentarily. Okay, so there we go. You got those. They're going to go in the oven while you prepare the rest. Okay. So pan back on the heat. I mean, if you want, you could change the oil. Like, that is absolutely perfect for me.
The good stuff.
So you've got your chicken breast now. Okay, so there's a real big difference between chicken breast and chicken wing. Chicken breast, cook quick, high heat, and get it like, the sooner it's cooked and the sooner you get it on the plate, the better. So this is like crunch time, okay? So if you want, now's a good time to kind of like set the table or whatever, like make sure you've got everything else ready, make sure you've got your mayo sorted, your salad sorted, blah, 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 because this is kind of the last step, okay? So you've got these, you've got your chicken breast. So just to let you know, I've pre-brined your chicken breast in Earl Grey tea, and then they're kind of marinated again in buttermilk, Dijon mustard, smoked paprika, and a few other bits and bobs. So I've done all that stuff for you. So all you've got to do is mix them with this beautiful breading mix, which has got a tiny bit of raising agent in to make them extra light and crispy, okay? Now, this is a meal for two, and there you will get essentially 2 free-range chicken breasts per person. Oh, sorry, 1 free-range chicken breast per person. So we're gonna get that in. My oil's got a bit hot, so I'm just gonna put it off. So if you start, you'll generally smell it before you see it, and I just got a little whiff of like that oil's quite hot. So just get it in there. Cool. I'm going to wash my hands. Ready? Cool. So we've got the chicken breast cooking through. Like, really, it doesn't take very long, like 3 to 4 minutes. Again though, probably with this one, I would encourage you, when you think it's done, just like cut it open with a sharp knife and just double check. You know, you could do it with a probe thermometer or whatever if you've got one, but like, I mean, you can tell if a chicken breast is cooked, but like, you want it just cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you don't want it to be, I mean, you don't want it to be glassy, but near enough. So, so you're gonna cook that through, and meanwhile you've got your buffalo wings still like getting delicious in there. As I said before, if you wanted to do like a starter mains kind of thing with this, you could wait to do this stage and eat your buffalo wings first, and then just cook this to kind of finish the main course, and then bring it back through for whatever lovely person you're cooking for. But yeah, so they're probably nearly there. We've got the buffalo sauce there, still nice and warm. And essentially, I'm going to bring all this through now, and we're going to plate it and maybe eat it?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so these chicken breasts have had, I guess, like 4 minutes-ish, and I've been turning them, which is what you should be doing. The next thing is take a bowl or a baking tray or a wire rack or whatever, and just put a little bit of, I mean, you could use baking parchment possibly, or kitchen towel. I mean, probably not loo roll, because I think
can't get it.
Supply or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then just take your beautiful bits of chicken breast.
Alright.
Lay them on, and that will just soak up any of the excess oil. Like, obviously, this is like a really beautiful, delicious kind of fried meal, but like, if you can sort of get rid of some of that excess fat, you know, it's not going to do any harm. Okay, so we've taken those out. Make sure you turn the heat off for the pan of oil. If you want, you could probably like sieve that oil and reuse it for more deep frying, but you know, we've used it for kind of 2 things, and for me that's kind of alright. So we've got the chicken breasts, they're ready to go. We're going to pull out the Hasselback potatoes. Let's have a look at those. Oh, look at those. They're so, honestly, they're so crisp. Like, they're beautiful. You're going to enjoy eating those. Right, we're going to pull those out, and we're going to pull out the buffalo wings.
No.
Now then, there are, well, I mean, there's so many opinions about this, but like, some people say you have to toss buffalo wings in buffalo sauce. Some people say you have to have it on the side and dip it. Some people say you put the wings on the plate and pour the buffalo sauce over. I honestly couldn't give a fuck. Do whatever you want. But I am going to put them on the plate and I'm going to drizzle the sauce over. Okay, so I'm going to take all this stuff through. I'm going to plate it up. Yeah, Wolf and Bird represent. And then I'm going to take all this stuff through and I'm going to plate it up and let's eat. Okay, so cool. So we've got the buffalo wings ready, we've got the chicken strips ready, we've got Hasselbacks ready. So I'm going to just plate up the buffalo wings in these little bowls. How many did I cook? I reckon I cooked 10, so that's 5 each, Felix.
Oh.
So there we go. Oh no, look at that. I cooked 11, so it's 6 for me and 5 for you.
Right.
Right.
Let's flip for it.
Maybe not. Right, so that's the wings. We've got this beautiful buffalo sauce, which is like nice and warm, and it's held its emulsification. Pour it over, or if you want, like, roll the wings in it. Come and get a close up of this. Come and get a close up of it. There you go. So you've got your buffalo wings, and this is like, for anyone who's been asking me incessantly for the past like 2 years, this is the Wolf and Bird buffalo wing. Okay, so you've got your buffalo wings, they're ready, they're beautiful, ready to go. I mean, like, I'm finding it hard not to eat them. Okay, and then we've got our beautiful salad we made earlier. Got chicken strips. There, perfect. And we've got our Hasselback potatoes. Like I said, just like mega crisp. So there's 4 on that one, 5 on that one. I wonder which one's going to be mine. Right. So So this essentially is your meal. You've got this beautiful pickled asparagus, which will cut through all the grease of the fried food. You've got Hasselback potatoes, which are like to the Wolf and Social recipe. Got these pickled radishes over these beautiful leaves, which I helped to produce. We've got a couple of portions of buffalo wings, and in a minute we're going to move on to dessert, but we're going to have to cut because I think we need to eat some things. Sorry. So you may or may not have eaten your food by now, but yeah, I mean, if you want to eat your food, pause the video and eat the food.
Should I pause?
But so we're doing the dessert now. So I'm going to send you some stone fruits. So whatever I can get. So peaches are on the edge of being in season. Apricots are in season. I'm going to try and get you some apricots. But what I've got here is a nectarine and a peach. Doesn't kind of really matter what you've got. It's kind of just like a mixture of what you've got. If you've got an apple corer, use that now. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. So just take the stone out of the peach, apricot or nectarine, whatever you've got. Whoa! Oh, this peach isn't quite ripe, but there we go. Okay, so take the stone out. Yeah, this is not quite ripe, so it's a bit of a tricky one. But the good thing about this dish is it kind of doesn't matter if the fruit's not quite ripe, because you're going to be cooking it down with loads of sugar. So you're going to put out loads of sweetness, and you and it's actually kind of like quite a good way to use slightly unripe fruit. So what I've done is I've just quartered the peach in order to get the stone out, because it's actually a real something. Okay, so I've got the peach, I've got the stone out, take the stalk out as well. Oh. There we go. Lovely. And then we can do the same to the nectarine. I've got, that is ripe. Ooh, yeah. Guys, ripe stone fruit's the best. Although this one's held onto its stone, quite annoyingly. I'm going to quarter that as well. But like I say, you can do it whole if you've got a corer. I mean, even if you haven't got a corer, you could probably do it whole. But yeah, good to get the stone out now. It's like, especially if this is for like a special occasion or something for the person you're cooking for. You don't really want them to be sort of dealing with the stone from the fruit. So, this is so ripe. If it wasn't for like coronavirus and stuff, I'd probably lick my fingers right now. Okay, so you've got your stone fruit chopped up or whole or whatever in a bowl. Get some sugar, like I said at the beginning. If you haven't got any sugar, what are you playing at? Stick the sugar over the fruit and just let the sugar kind of like meld in there. I don't know if meld's a word, but it is now. So just cover that in the sugar. Pause. Cool, so you've got your like sugared fruit. Stick it into a small baking tray again. Again, I'm going to use a little skillet pan, which I like to use for this. And well, so I've called it grilled. I mean, we don't actually have a grill in this kitchen, but what I have got is a blowtorch. And like, to be honest, if I didn't have my blowtorch, like, there wouldn't be much food at Woolf and Social. People take the mickey out of me, and they say if I didn't have micro herbs and a blowtorch,
pyro.
But so I'm going to stick these in the oven for a little bit, just to like soften them, especially because my peach was a little bit unripe. So I'm going to stick them in the oven for a little bit. I mean, you can stick them in the oven while you're eating while you're eating the rest of your food. But I would stick them in the oven for a good 5 minutes, just to like take the edge off, especially if like you've got a slight bite to some of the fruit. Hopefully I'm going to get some really beautiful ripe fruit to send you, and you won't need to do that. If you've got a grill, just take your baking tray and your or your skillet or whatever, and just stick it under the grill. And like, don't be scared of it going a little bit dark, like a little bit black. Like, burning things is like a bit of a faux pas. Like, burning things is good. If you do it in the right way, in a controlled way, and you get the right amount of colour on something, you're gonna just add like an extra element of flavour. Burning things brings out a little bit of bitterness, which counteracts the sweetness. Like, it just makes it amazing. So I'm gonna stick this in the oven for a little bit, and then I'm gonna blowtorch it, and we'll do that. You ready? Cool, so my peaches have been in the oven for about like, peaches and nectarines have been in the oven for about like 5 minutes, something like that. Like, you don't have to do this, and it's not part of the kit, but if you've got a spirit, I would say, I guess like brandy, cognac, Cointreau, or Sambuca, which we found in the cupboard just now. So you could put a little bit of that over the top, make them a little bit boozy. Boozy's always good. And then do a little flambe. I can edit that out.
Keep it in, mate. Keep it in.
Do a little flambe. Whoops. Do a little flambe.
You're going to do the bar at the same time.
So like I was saying earlier about burning things, a little bit of colour is good. A little bit of colour, like, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of like black on your food. It's just another depth of the flavour. So now you've got your grilled or flambéed or baked peach stone fruits. Spoon them into the bowl. And like, there's so much beautiful like peachy, nectarine-y, like sambuca-y juice in there. And then grab your chantilly cream, which you should have ready made for you, and just put a nice dollop on the top. And that's going to be your dessert. And so this, I guess, kind of concludes the meal. And you can then garnish your dessert with a few raspberries. Like peach and raspberry, you can't go wrong. If you want to do something cool with your raspberries, like crush them with some icing sugar and stir it through the cream and make a little raspberry ripple, you can do that, that'd be fine. But for me, like fresh raspberries, just as good as that. So yeah, enjoy, thanks. And if you look here, this is like your completed element. Unfortunately, we just like couldn't contain ourselves and had to eat a bowl of the buffalo wings. So I can guarantee you they're pretty sensational.
And they will get a full portion.
yeah, exactly. So this is the whole meal you're going to get, and I hope yours looks like in some way like ours does. Thank you so much for like supporting us and for purchasing our like cook along kit. What are we calling it? Wolf and Social Kitchen thing. Wolf and
with the lift
thing.
And
So,
we miss you all.
Yeah, we really miss everyone, and like, yeah, this has been hard for us in many ways, but like, we are looking onwards and upwards, and like, supporting us doing things like this will help us to continue being Wolf and Social for as long as we can be bothered. So
Stay safe and see you soon.
yeah, cheers. Thanks very much. Chin chin.
Wow.